Speaking of GameFly, I played about half of Rage 2 that came out way earlier this year. And man, was that a Mad Max game before the Mad Max lawsuits happened and then they threw the Rage name on it. Like, even the writing is like an 80s style action movie. At first, I hated it. It opens with this really linear piece where it's teaching you all this tutorial level, essentially. But it was really nice. Like, it looked nice. It felt great. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. It's got a cool, like, intro to the story. And then it opens up and it's an open world. And I was like, ugh. And then I was driving to a point of interest because it's got vehicles. And the vehicle is really cool. It's got an AI that talks to you. And it's pretty funny. Like, you have guns on it, but the guns can overheat. And it's a female voice, and it goes, "Oh, slow down, killer! I'm too hot right now." Like, it's funny. It's written like that, like an '80s action movie like that. So that's the tone. So I drove to like a waypoint that I'd set because that's the way I thought I had to go. And then I get there, and like I couldn't figure out where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do. But I'm standing literally on top of this waypoint, and then there's these sentry towers that are firing at me, and I was like, okay, I'll just knock out the sentry tower. And then I couldn't because I didn't have enough ammo for my car and my gun and all that, and I was like, man, fuck this game. And I turned it off because it was pissing me off and it was late at night, and I was like, man, this is fucking stupid. I see why people hate this fucking game. If it just didn't have the open world shit, this game would probably be really cool. Then the next day I came back, cooled off, played it, and looked at the map and realized that there's difficulty markers on all of these little missions. So there's like from like 1 to 10 on the difficulty rating. And if you don't have your upgrades, you better not go try and do these things. But like the closest things to me to do were super difficult things, like 8s, 9s, and 10s in the difficulty rating. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was super counterintuitive to get anybody to want to play a game, because you're gonna stop at the closest thing to you and try to do the thing there. Like, it just doesn't make sense to have that be, the hardest thing to do right out of the gate.
Talking Rage 2.
Yes, Rage 2. But I like the story. I like the characters. I like the writing. And now that I went in and I realized that's got the difficulty ratings and stuff like that, and I've done some upgrades, and it's really fun. It's really... Like, if this was not a $60 game...
Yeah, that's kind of Mad Max-ish.
So the developers that made this made that Mad Max game that came out in 2015 that I said that I was raving about.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
And I really feel like they were making a Mad Max game, and then that lawsuit stuff happened over the IP, and they got the IP pulled, and nobody's making anything Mad Max right now because that lawsuit still isn't settled. And I feel like since Bethesda was like, hey, we got a property. Look at it. It looks like a Mad Max game. But I'm having I was having a lot of fun with it. I sent it back. Now, again, this is not a review of the game because I haven't finished the game. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I played enough to get a sense of what this game is. And I plan on getting it back and finishing it before we do our Game of the Year stuff this year to see if this even rates or makes a top 5 or a top 10. But I've played some fucking bangers this year, man. So I don't know if this is going to outdo them. But I think this is a game you would have fun with, Rick, because it's a first-person shooter. You get to blow shit up. It's got fun weapons. It's got really cool base camps to take over. So it's got a lot of enemies that want to come at you and to kill and mindlessly kill. And then you get story after that. So it's pretty cool. But I will say the progression system feels fucking antiquated as all hell. Because it's like, hey, go meet this person and talk to them. And it's like, okay, so I want to talk to this person. Hey, I need you to do this. And they give you this long fucking checklist of things to do. And it's all like based around the mechanics. Hey, go win some races in your car. Hey, go kill some people in this arena battles area. Hey, go take over some outposts. And like, it's one of these games where it's like, you have to do all this shit before we give you a little bit more of the story. Whereas, like, games now would be giving you story as you're doing all of that shit. So it's like a lot of radio silence until you actually go back and talk to them when you've completed their tasks. So I just feel like it's kind of antiquated in that sense. But
it's still fun.
It's fun, yeah. It feels great. The shooting feels great, man. The car, it was difficult to go to the vehicles in this game after playing so much Borderlands, because Borderlands, the vehicles are on the triggers. Not the triggers, the thumbsticks.
Okay.
Left stick for gas and brake, right stick for turning.
Oh, that's weird.
Like a Warthog in Halo. You never played Halo.
I never played Halo.
Except for that little bit we played here,
Yeah.
which you had to have me drive because you couldn't figure it out. So that's how you do the driving in Borderlands, because there's weapons on the cars, so you need the triggers for the weapons. In this game, it's traditional car. It's right trigger gas, left trigger brake. But there's also guns on the car. So it's weird. It was weird, but I finally figured it out, and I was able to go back and forth without being confused. But I really like it. Like I don't know. I don't think it's gonna make my top 5, but this could creep in a top 10 list.
Honorable mention. Maybe?
And I've played a lot of games this year, so I might have to do a top 10 list this year. I always threaten you guys with doing a top 10. For me, not for you, but I might have to do a top 10 list this year.